So what was she telling him? She said, I'm going to kill you as you had killed them. I'm going to have you killed as how you had them other prophets killed. That's what I'm going to do for you. How you had killed them other false prophets, how you killed them other prophets, I'm going to do the same to you about this time tomorrow. That's what she said. That's what she said. And get this. Elijah was a man of God, but it had an effect on him. But things aren't as they appear to be. And this is what he said. Elijah, this is verse 18. Yet I have left. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and get back to where I was. Okay. So now, what Elijah thought he was all alone. He thought he was all alone out there. It was just him out there. That's what he thought. He thought he was all alone. That they done went ahead and it was just him. But see, things aren't as it appeared to be. He might not have seen people around about him. He might not have seen people around him. He may not have seen people that he could recognize who was serving the Lord as he's serving the Lord. And sometimes we feel that way, sometimes don't we? Sometimes we're on the job or we're at school or we're somewhere and we think that we're the only ones out there that's serving the Lord. And Elijah, he thought the same way. I'm the only one. It's just me out here. It's just me. And so this is what happened. And this is what God had told him. Because he thought it was just him out there. He was scared of what Jezebel had said. He was scared of it. It didn't do well for him. He was scared. And this is what God had told him. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel. He thought it was just him. But again, things aren't as they appear to be. He thought it was just him out there. He said, yet I have left 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him. So no, you're not the only one out here. I got other people out there. You're not alone. Don't feel like that you're left alone. No, because things aren't as they appear to be. We think things are sometimes, and we react sometimes, but we have to get in touch with God. We have to get in touch with God and let God reveal to us what's going on. Don't just go off of your emotions saying, oh man, I can't understand it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know. No, we can't be that way. We have to realize that, hey, listen, this is God. I serve God. I serve God in whatever situation it is, and he's still God. God reigns over it. Every situation, he reigns over it. Every situation, God reigns over. And we got to realize that, listen, God is over this situation too. He thought he was the only one. No, you're not the only one. Get up, man. Right? Get up from where you're at. Realize, no, I have other people. And God, and if you listen, God coddled him, in this chapter, verse 19, in 1 Kings, God coddled him. Because he needed to be coddled. You know how like a young child who's unsure of things and scared, you gotta nurture them along and you gotta, okay, baby, it'll be all right. That's how God did with Elijah. That's how he did with him. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for his divine protection and how sometimes we go into a situation and we don't know how we're going to make it out. And I mention them over and over again, but it's even with them 3 Hebrew boys. Whenever they were in that fiery furnace, things weren't as they appeared to be. When Daniel was in the lion's den, things weren't as they appeared to be. When David was going up against Goliath, things weren't as they appeared to be. Things weren't. See, you understand me? When you're on the side of God, things aren't the way they appear to be. Other people may look at you and think that you are an underdog, that you're not going to succeed, that things are bad and everything else. But when you serve God, things aren't as they appear to be. They're just not. And sometimes, even when you're in God, you may get fearful, as Elijah did. He was fearful. But things aren't as they appear to be. Let's turn to 2 Kings, chapter 6, verse 15 and 16. Now, this is talking, I believe, about Elisha here. Right? This is Elisha here, I believe. Somebody, if you can get it further along than verse 6:15, let me know if I'm certain. I believe this is Elisha here. Okay, it is, I was told. All right. Now, listen to this. Now, I'm going to tell you, well, no, let me just go ahead and read. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. So they compassed, right? So they were after them. They were trying to surround, they were surrounding them. They were surrounding Elisha and his servant. And his servant said, I'm reading on, this is still verse 15. And Elisha's servant said unto him, and his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? How shall we do? In other words, what are we going to do? Look at them, they're all around us. We're outnumbered. What shall we do? What shall we do? But see, God had revealed to that Elisha, the man of God, he revealed something to him. Right? So listen to what Elisha told him. And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Now, can you imagine this? Can you imagine? It's you and Elisha. Follow what I'm saying here. Pay attention to this. It's you and Elisha. And he tells you, you're looking around and you see all these horses and chariots, and you ask him, say, what are we going to do? And he tells you, fear not, there's more with us than it is with them. And you're like, you know what? Okay, can you imagine being in that situation? But Elisha showed him, and Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes. Open his eyes that he may see. See, sometimes we're in situations we don't even see everything that's around us. We don't see everything that's going on. We don't see all of God's heavenly works around us all the time. Right? There's people who can't perceive some of the things that we do. Right? There's people who can't perceive God because they haven't got that vision. Their eyes haven't been open. They can't perceive God. They can't understand God. So in other words, since they can't understand God, then they try to act like he don't exist. It's because their eyes have not been open. They don't have the right heart that they need to have. But Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he might see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man. And he saw, listen, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So that was who they were rolling with. They had all these people. That's who they had. But the young man didn't see that they had all that going on. So things aren't always as it appears to be. And we got to realize when we serve God, do it the way God tells us. Don't run from it. Don't shrink from it. Don't hide from it. Because it doesn't look the way that you think it should look. It doesn't appear the way that you think it should be. Because listen, things aren't as they appear to be. It's just simple. When you serve God, things aren't as they appear to be. So don't let your brain, don't let your emotions take control of you and get you to move away from God. God says do it this way, do it that way. God says move there, move there. God says come here, come here. Don't say, don't go off of how it looks. Don't go off and say, well, I don't have enough money to get there. Don't go off and say, well, my boss told me to come in to work, so I got to go in to work. If you know God tells you to do something and it's in his word, of God, listen to the word of God all the time. And don't go off of what you see. Because that young man was going off of what he thought, what he saw. Right? The young man who was with Elisha, he was going off of what he saw. So we can't always go off of what we see. Unless God opens our eyes up to what he's doing. Right? So on that note, we're going to take the altar call. We're going to have the altar call. Right? Anybody who's looking for prayer at this time can come and stretch out across the front pews.